Hello everyone and welcome to another top 5 record video and a review, because this album just got released and got into the mailbox. It is The Dark Side of the Moon Redux by Roger Waters, a fully new recorded version of Dark Side of the Moon. I've been looking forward to this release, but before I will talk about this album, I think it's always important to give you a little bit of information. Where am I coming from? Because in the world of Roger Waters, you have Pink Floyd fans who like him, who dislike him, and I think you should take that into account. I have been a Pink Floyd fan for 20 years. I started listening to The Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall, and I was hooked. I dearly love them, and I've been doing some videos about their full discography. I've been reviewing them, so if you're interested, you can go in my account. There's a playlist in which I do the full discography review, and I've done it with a lot of love for Pink Floyd. I also like Roger Waters' solo work, and I think he's one of the biggest and most important writers of the last century. I mean, writing or co-writing Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, Animals, The Wall, and I think Amused to Death is really good. I also like his last solo record, the one before this one, Is This the Life We Really Want? I think he is very good on that record. A brilliant musician, but I've been going to a lot of his shows, The Wall tour, The Dark Side of the Moon tour, Us and Them. But when he made these statements with regard to Russia earlier this year and the war in Ukraine, I gave in my ticket for This Is Not a Drill. I thought, it's a political show, there's a lot of politics going on, I'm not gonna attend this. So, with that in mind, that's what I think of Roger Waters. This album has two things before you start listening. First of all, whenever an artist revisits old material or an old masterpiece, it's complicated. Same counts for Dark Side of the Moon. Second, the way he announced it, this is also an ambiguous existing title, because he announced it during a fight with David Gilmour. And it was a nasty fight, it was an online fight. So, does this album exist because he really thinks an reimagining would be nice? Or is this a big insult to his former band members? We don't know, but that's been going through my mind. Now, the album itself, it's beautifully packaged. I think the artwork by Sean Evans is gorgeous. You can see the Dark Side of the Moon logo of the original album here in the eye. These are two vinyls with lyrics and some of the words he is saying on this record on here. Also on this one, the second LP, side 4, actually has atmospheres on there. So the album ends on side 3 and you have atmospheres which are used in the album and some sound art on the side 4. Bizarre choice, you can't say this is not a unique artist. The album itself, what does it sound like? Is this necessary? Well, that's a tough question, and I've been struggling with what I think of this starting from the moment I've been listening to it. My listening experience is, I love these songs. They are brilliantly written, and the way Roger Waters approaches it has a lot to do with the way he approached Is This the Life We Really Want? His singing is much more talking singing. I think he's good at that. I think he has an interesting voice for it. I don't think it sounds technically as interesting on this album as could be. It's a very bright sounding pressing. His voice does not have the depth that Is This the Life We Really Want, for example, has. So I don't really enjoy the mastering or the pressing that much. Also, you know, it's stripped down. It's stripped down. The speed is much lower on this version. The melody of the vocals are basically there, but all the other instruments are not. He does do some interesting things with other instruments, but this is not the diverse everything. You know, when you listen to the original Dark Side of the Moon, it takes over the room. And there are sounds and sound effects and instruments coming from everywhere. And there are loads of brilliant musicians doing the most brilliant melodic lines, and they all tell the same story. This is toned down, and that can be interesting, and you know, the songs are not always bad, but he stretches it out so much, and not just speed wise. He does something which I think might be unforgivable. He adds dialogue or monologue. He adds a lot of monologue, and on this sleeve he tells us where the monologues are from, as a part of the song Free Fall from Obscured by Clouds. There are some scribblings of his. There is actually one story of a friend of his that died, and the mourning. He tells about the mourning, and which is somewhat interesting. I mean, that story took me, but then it goes into Great Gig in the Sky, which has nothing to do with the original, which has none of the strength. It's not the vocal anymore, but a humming. You know, humming is vocal, but it's not the brilliant burst of vocal energy that's on the original. And I accept that it's not like the original, but does this contain the power of the original? No, it does not. And if this would have been released in 1973, the album would not have been as big as it is today. I'm not fully on board. As a matter of fact, somewhere along side 2 and side 3, I noticed my mind was slipping away. And that is the first time during Dark Side of the Moon that my mind is slipping away. There's so much talking going on. He really destroys Money this way, for example. The song Money, I mean, all the talking, and something is sincere and some just come off as pretentious. Overall, I am really disappointed. I don't understand why this was necessary. I don't understand the motivation. And this is, together with some political statements, one of the moments that I'm getting off board with Roger Waters, which has been my big hero for the last 20 years. So, yeah. Yeah, it's tough to say goodbye to your heroes. That's what's going on here. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you agree or disagree. Leave a comment below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.